Welcome to the Adventure Library, a place where stories from every world come alive. Whether you're falling asleep, driving, working, or simply seeking calm, these stories are here for you, wherever your journey takes you. Today's tale is called The Great Christmas Quest of Yuletide Hollow, encapsulating the atmosphere of the Christmas season and holiday spirit, a time of bustling snowy streets, twinkling lights, and shopping carts piled high with gifts. But this isn't just a story of jingling bells and Christmas trees. Sometimes the most ordinary places hide the most extraordinary surprises. Somewhere between the rush of holiday shoppers and the quiet corners of a crowded store, a secret waits, and one unsuspecting adventurer is about to step into a world of magic and holiday adventure. Chapter 1. The Holiday Hustle. The snow started falling like it had a personal vendetta against the city. Tiny icy flakes drifted down from the grey morning sky, landing in Thomas Holly's hair and his coat collar, and occasionally down the back of his neck. He shoved his hands deeper into his pockets and trudged through the crowded downtown streets, clutching his work bag like it was a shield. The city was alive in a way that felt both magical and infuriating. Lights twinkled from every storefront window, giant wreaths hung on every lamppost, and even the traffic lights seemed to blink with a festive cheer that Thomas could not, for the life of him, return. He muttered under his breath as a group of shoppers spilled out of a crosswalk, nearly knocking him into a lamppost.
"Excuse me! Watch out!"
He said, but the words died in the cold air as someone behind him screamed.
Happy holidays! Merry Christmas!
Shoppers surged forward like a wave of festive chaos, and Thomas ducked into the relative safety of a side street, narrowly avoiding a collision with a man carrying a tiny, screaming child dressed as an elf. He glanced at the Midtown Mart sign looming ahead, its blinking letters partially obscured by snow. Another day, another holiday season. Another week of standing behind the register, stocking shelves, and silently resenting the endless merry chaos. Thomas sighed, kicking at a patch of snow that had clung to the sidewalk. Inside, Midtown Mart was worse. The automatic doors whooshed open, and the smell of hot pretzels, pine-scented air fresheners, and faintly burnt coffee assaulted his senses. The store was a hive of frenzied shoppers, holiday music blasting from speakers overhead, and carts squeaking against polished floors. He maneuvered through the aisles, dodging elbows, spilled cups of hot cocoa, and the occasional toddler who had escaped parental supervision.
"Thomas, stockroom's a mess,"
Called out Marcy, his manager, her voice sharp enough to cut through the chaos. He groaned, clocked in, and turned down a back aisle, narrowly avoiding a display of glittering ornaments crashing to the floor. Boxes of lights and decorations teetered on pallets like precarious little towers, and he sighed at the thought of spending the next few hours coaxing them into order. In the stockroom, he shuffled around, staring at all the work he had to do. He trudged through piles of boxes and merchandise, groaning at the thought of another day spent at Midtown Mart. He made his way to the back of the room where he caught sight of something odd. It was tucked under a pile of clearance items, a snow globe, slightly dusty, sitting alone on a low shelf. Its glass shimmered in a way that seemed almost alive, the scene inside glowing faintly despite the fluorescent lights overhead. Unlike the other holiday trinkets, this globe seemed different. The tiny village inside was pristine and perfectly still, the snow frozen mid-air. At its center, a glittering tree pulsing faintly as if breathing. Thomas frowned. He picked it up carefully, turning it in his hands. The base was carved with intricate designs, almost like ancient runes, intertwined with little gears, as if it were part toy, part artifact. He shook it gently, and to his surprise, the snow inside didn't move at first. Then, ever so slightly, it swirled, and the lights on the lone Christmas tree flickered, as if acknowledging his touch.
"Huh,"
he whispered,
That's weird.
A thunderous crash from the main floor pulled him back to reality. Someone had knocked over an entire display of holiday candles. Of course they had. Thomas set the snow globe back, brushing dust off his fingers. Whatever magic it held could wait. He had real work to do, and the holiday rush was merciless. Hours passed like a blur. Tinsel, wrapping paper, and frantic shoppers. It was pure chaos. Thomas moved from aisle to aisle, restocking shelves, answering questions about whether certain toys came in different colors, different varieties, different sets, and if they had any left in the back. So many questions it was overwhelming. Thomas carefully untangled strands of blinking lights that somehow had become a single, enormous knot. He dodged a cart full of plush reindeer, helped a small child reach a giant teddy bear, and smiled politely through gritted teeth at the store manager's constant reminders to
Keep it cheerful, Thomas.
By mid-afternoon, snow had started falling harder outside, dusting the windows and making the city look like a postcard. Thomas glanced up, tired, rubbing at his eyes. The hustle of downtown, the horns, the chatter, the laughter, the occasional shout of Merry Christmas had become almost rhythmic, a pulse he hadn't noticed before. During a rare pause, he slipped back into the quiet stockroom for a moment of reprieve. His eyes wandered again to the snow globe, and he couldn't help but stare. The snow still moved slightly whenever he touched it, and the tree in the center glimmered faintly. Something about it whispered to him, a faint tug in his chest. It was otherworldly, promising, a reminder that perhaps there was more to the world than he thought. He sighed, shaking his head.
Yeah, right.
He muttered, walking back to the aisles.
It's just a globe. Nothing magical about it. Just more Christmas junk.
Still, as he went back to work, a part of him couldn't shake the feeling that the snow globe was waiting for something, calling out to him. By the time evening rolled around, Midtown Mart was a storm of red and green chaos. The parking lot was jammed with cars. People were laughing, shouting, and tripping over one another with shopping bags in hand. Thomas finally clocked out, shoulders aching, and stepped outside into the falling snow. The downtown skyline shimmered, windows glowing with holiday lights, street vendors calling out their last-minute deals, and the scent of roasted chestnuts lingering in the air. Thomas adjusted his coat and trudged through the thickening snow, a faint smile tugging at his lips, surprising even himself. Somewhere in the back of his mind, the way the snow globe glimmered, the way it almost whispered, it made him dream of adventures waiting beyond its glass. For now, though, he was just another weary city worker in the middle of the holiday hustle. But for the first time that season, he felt a little curious, a little hopeful. And in the depths of the stockroom, under the dust and the boxes of unsold decorations, the snow globe waited. The tree was its heartbeat, glowing, pulsing faintly, as if it already knew Thomas Holly would return. Chapter 2. Welcome to Yuletide Hollow. Thomas didn't sleep well that night. Every time he shut his eyes, he saw that snow globe, glimmering faintly, like a secret trying too hard not to be noticed. He dreamt of snow swirling inside it on its own, of little voices echoing through glass. When his alarm screamed at 6 a.m., he slapped the clock and groaned. Another day, another shift, another avalanche of tinsel and holiday cheer. The city's cold breath met him the second he stepped outside. Snowflakes twirled lazily downward, softer than yesterday, quieter, almost curious. He tugged his scarf up and trudged toward the bustle waiting downtown. Inside Midtown Mart, the morning rush hit instantly. Cartwheels screeching, bells jingling, and All I Want for Christmas Is You already looping for what felt like the millionth time since November. He barely made it through aisle 3 before Marcy flagged him down.
Thomas, stockroom cleanup. Yesterday's chaos made a mess.
Of course it did. He nodded and slipped away into that dim, cold back room. And there it was, the snow globe, exactly where he'd left it, except it looked cleaner, clearer, like someone had polished the glass overnight. He reached out without thinking. The snow stirred when his hand got close. He froze.
Nope, absolutely not. No way.
But his hand moved anyway, like something deeper than curiosity demanded it. The moment his fingertip brushed the glass, flakes inside spiraled upward, defying gravity, shimmering like tiny stars. The tree flickered and glowed. His heart pounded.
Okay, science can explain something like that. Probably, right?
But he wasn't convinced. So he had an idea. Call in backup.
Hey, Evan!
He shouted into the open door. His co-worker, earbuds in and chewing gum like it owed him money, wandered over.
Yeah, what's up?
Touch this.
Evan, confused, stared at the globe, shrugged and tapped the glass. Nothing. No sparkle. No swirl.
Try it again.
Thomas said, in shock. Evan grabbed the globe and shook it. Nothing happened. He rolled his eyes and stepped back.
It's just a snow globe, dude.
He wandered off muttering something about Thomas needing a nap. Thomas stared at the snow globe. Really stared. For the first time. The tiny town inside looked peaceful, warm. Everything his life currently wasn't. He lifted it closer, gave it a gentle shake. The snow didn't just fall. It danced, swirling like it recognized him. He held it close, pressing it to his ear. Faint bells rang from somewhere inside. Tiny voices were whispering.
I wish I knew what you're trying to tell me.
He murmured. Or maybe he was thinking it, not speaking. Or maybe he was just wishing he could step inside, leave the chaos of his world behind for just a moment. The snow reacted. Slowly at first, then like a river breaking free, swirling in silver and white. The lights of the tiny tree pulsed, brighter and warmer, as if acknowledging him. Thomas tried to pull back, but the warmth from the globe spread into his hands, his arms, up his chest, and around him. Light shimmered between his fingers. The stockroom blurred, the boxes faded, the floor vanished. He felt weightless, suspended between here and somewhere else entirely. He wasn't shoved or pulled. He wasn't yanked. He was invited. And with one final pulse of warmth, Thomas Holly found himself inside the world he'd been staring at. The snow, the lights, the tiny village, all alive around him. Thomas crashed into a snowbank, so soft it felt like landing on a cotton pillow. He blinked snow out of his eyelashes and sat up. His breath puffed into the air like tiny clouds. He wasn't in Midtown Mart anymore. It was a village, the village from the globe, a perfect little town bursting with bright colors. Cottages lined with peppermint borders, lampposts shaped like candy canes, reeves bigger than car tires. A towering tree stood at the center, decorated with glowing ornaments, and a star that flickered weakly, as if struggling to stay lit. Snow drifted down gently, not cold and aggressive like the city, soft, warm almost, magical. Thomas pinched himself, slapped his face, and blinked twice.
Okay, I Either I need more coffee or I am officially losing it.
He stood slowly.
Well, this was not in the job description.
Incoming!
A blur of white mini fluff tackled his leg, arms wrapped tight like a tiny snow ninja.
Hi, I'm Nip.
The little snowman squeaked, eyes made of sparkling blue jelly beans.
Are you a hero? Please tell me you're a hero. Pepper said she saw a prophecy and everything, and there was some guy, and he would help us, and then Chip said...
Let the man breathe.
A strong voice said. Thomas looked up to see a gingerbread man wearing a cracked suit of cookie armor and wielding what appeared to be a candy cane sword. He nodded seriously.
Chip, warrior class, mostly. Welcome to Yuletide Hollow.
And I'm Pepper.
Came another voice, cheerful and ringing like sleigh bells. An elf with peppermint stripes in her hair jumped down from a rooftop, landing in front of Thomas with surprising grace. Her ears poked through a fluffy red hat, and she wore green boots that curled at the toes. Thomas stared, wide-eyed.
Okay, yep, that's it. It's time to call a therapist. I've officially lost it.
Chip stomped a little, hands on hips, voice sharp but playful.
Nope, not lost, rookie. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, so quit whining and pay attention.
Pepper stepped closer, eyes scanning him thoughtfully.
You are the one. Only someone chosen could be here like you are now. Just like the prophecy said, only someone who still carries a spark of Christmas magic can save us.
Thomas snorted.
The chosen one, huh? Fan-freaking-tastic. I hate Christmas, I hate magic, and now I'm hallucinating about being the savior of whatever this is.
Pepper grinned, like she'd expected that answer.
Yeah, I figured you'd say something like that. But you aren't crazy. We are real. This is real. And you are here as clear as day.
Nip tugged Thomas's sleeve urgently.
You're here because we need help. The Ember Stone has been stolen.
Pepper pointed toward the huge tree in the center square. Now Thomas noticed the bark cracked. Icicles clung to the branches even though the rest of the town felt warm.
That tree
She explained.
is the Hearthwood tree. It keeps Yuletide Hollow full of warmth, spirit, joy, every good thing that brings peace and happiness. The Emberstone rests inside. Without it, the lights fade. Laughter dies. There is no more cheer, no hope, and the frost creeps in.
Chip stepped forward, jaw tight.
And that Frost has a ruler, a cold-hearted creature who despises warmth and joy. The Frost King.
His candy cane sword quivered in his hand.
His army has already taken the northern ridge. Soon, they'll reach the village.
Nip sniffled, tears forming. They instantly froze into tiny snow crystals.
We've tried everything, but we're too small, too weak. We can't stop it. And each day, it takes more of what makes us, us.
Thomas, confused, wrapped his arms around himself.
Okay, slow down. Let's assume for a second this is real, and I'm not in a coma somewhere. I can't even believe I'm entertaining this. But why me?
Pepper tilted her head.
Because, silly, you saw the magic. The tree responded to you. Someone who hasn't let the world freeze their heart.
Thomas stared at his hands. In the retail chaos, in the exhaustion, he hadn't thought there was anything magical left inside him. But here, the snow still shimmered around his fingers, like it wanted to guide him. Pepper held out her hand.
Help us journey to the Frost King's fortress, retrieve the Ember Stone, restore the Hearthwood tree, and save Christmas. Save our world.
Thomas blinked.
Save Christmas? That's a lot of pressure for minimum wage.
Nip beamed up at him with hope. Chip stood heroically, and Pepper's face held determination, fierce and warm. For the first time in a very long time, Thomas felt needed. He sighed.
Yeah, sure, why not? I can walk and pick up your little rock thingy?
Pepper clapped her hands.
That's the spirit.
Kip saluted.
Then we should prepare. The Frost King's minions patrol the mountain roads.
Nip bounced excitedly.
We're going on a mission! We're going on a mission! We're going...
Chip jabbed Nip lightly with the tip of his candy cane sword.
Focus, Nip.
Thomas looked at the faintly glowing tree one more time. The lights were dimming fast. The world he had just left, the one filled with noise and chaos and responsibility, suddenly felt very far away. Here, he wasn't just a miserable and tired retail worker, another cog in the machine. He was someone who could make a difference.
Okay. Let's go save your village. Oh, by the way, my name's Thomas. Thomas Holly.
Nip cheered.
Thomas Holly! Our hero! Woo!
As they headed into the town, Pepper whispered,
Welcome to Yuletide Hollow. Thomas Holly.
Snow started to fall harder, swirling sharply now, colder. Somewhere beyond the village, a deep rumble of frost rolled across the mountains. A storm was coming. And Thomas, he was walking straight into it. And so begins the journey into Yuletide Hollow. The frost is still spreading. The Emberstone is still lost. And Thomas's story is only just beginning. This is part 1 of a 3-part story. Part 2 will continue the tale. Stay tuned for more. Until then, happy reading and thank you for watching.